General quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Broadcasting live on WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Danger. Hey, how you doing? Tom Trento here, your host on, what's today? Wednesday, the 15th, January 15th. Got to put my psychedelic glasses on. Wow, these are weird looking.
They are weird looking on camera, though.
And looking. The operative word is looking, because today's show, January 15th, 2020, I love that. We are sending out our first vidcast. What is it? What are these things called when they're on video?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm even going to put it out. If you screw this up, I'm not going to put it out. Okay.
A vidcast. We've only done about 1,000 of these things, but we're live on WWNN 1470 on your AM dial, 95.3 on the FM side, and we're going to be sending out our video of the radio show. Try to figure that out. We're going to send out the guy who thinks he's a girl who they're menstruating. I don't know.
That's a weird.
That's
story.
a whole nother story.
I heard of that one.
That's a whole nother story. But what a show we have for you today. We have crazy Nancy. I mean, nitwit Nancy and more nonsense. This is very important stuff.
Yes, it is.
We have nitwit Nancy now looking like she came out of the tomb where she was being prepared for. Seriously, she was being prepared for. Her body was being. My uncle was. I'm Italian from New Jersey. We know about funeral parlors. Okay, I've been in funeral parlors where the bodies were being prepared. She looked like a body on the slab being prepared. They propped her up and said, "You're on, Nancy. You're on. Go out there." Unbelievable.
Embalm.
And embalm, that was the word. Embalm Nancy. And we're going to talk about the reach these people have because they know they're dead. They know after last night's debate. We're going to talk about the Democrat debate where no Americans showed up last night. So we're going to talk about that. We got a piece from James O'Keefe, a good friend of ours who it just blew a hole through Bernie Sanders' campaign.
Broadside.
I mean,
incoming, Doc.
Yeah, it's like a ship, in the Civil War comes alongside another Ironsides, whatever, blows a gigantic hole in Bernie.
It's like the
Sanders.
beginning of our intro.
Poor
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations.
Exactly. I hope Bernie's heart is doing well these days. We're going to talk about that. Then one of our local congressmen, Brian Mast. And Brian down here in South Florida, he doesn't have a whole lot of support on the conservative side. Sometimes his record is more liberal than conservative, but he did something magnificent, absolutely magnificent, a brilliant move in the U.S. Congress yesterday. We're going to play that a little bit. But let me see who's in the area. We call the zoo over here. J. Mark, are you there?
Guilty.
Oh, you're there. Okay. Oh, Midwest Dick, I see you.
In the zoo.
You got a camera on you guys so these people can see your lovely faces?
just calm down.
We're not quite there.
Not quite there yet.
The face
Let
for
me have
radio right here.
Let me have a sip of my Pellegrino.
Oh, so now you're advertising for Pellegrino.
I'm trying to get them as an account.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Pellegrino buying time on this show? By the way, Tom Trento, your host on the Trento Show, where we make America think again. Is that so hard to make America think again?
No.
We don't do it with coercion, maybe intellectual coercion. We don't do it with force, maybe a mental force. We believe people have a free will. You have the capability to make your own decisions, but you ought to have some facts that are, what's the word?
Compelling?
No, compelling. I think the word is, we talked about it the other day, absolute. That's the word.
Yeah.
You have to have information that if an alien from another planet, you know what? If an alien last night, a space alien, last night on Tuesday night, the 14th, I'm mixing the days up here, I've been traveling. If last night an alien came down and had two TVs in his hotel room, now, how did the alien get in his hotel room? That's another story. But if he had two TVs, and on one he had CNN, and the other he had C-SPAN. You know what C-SPAN was covering last night?
No.
The Wisconsin rally by the 45th President of the United States.
Oh, they were?
America,
C-SPAN
Donald
was doing
Trump.
that?
C-SPAN broadcast it live, and then CNN broadcast live the dead debate of the Democrats. If an alien were watching both of them, just an alien. This is what I'm talking about, facts, where there's no subjective information. If you looked at that, if you asked the alien after you looked at both things and said, what's going on there? The alien, in alien talk, and I'm translating, he would say, strong man, rally, strong man, tough man, smart man, big man, loves people, loves country, good man, 45, where's my MAGA hat? That's what the alien would say if he were looking at that. Conversely, if the alien were looking at the C-SPAN production last night, he'd go, what a bunch of pussies. What a bunch of wimps. What are they talking about? One wants to out-left, out-social the other one. All of them want to give the enemy, just surrender, just absolutely surrender. You know, it's very interesting, and Brian will highlight this for us a bit later. It's very interesting that the Democrats have more interest in defending the person, the general of Qasem Soleimani, the general who was killed about a week ago by the United States forces, questioning whether or not there was a legitimate assassination and the military use of force and recalling all of that. There's so much discussion. And you turn to Vladimir Putin, the prime minister, the dictator of Russia. And again, objectively, you look at both of those men and you ask the question, how many Americans in the past 20 years has Vladimir Putin killed? How many? How many
people has he killed? Or
how many Americans? How many American soldiers has Vladimir Putin killed in the past 20 years? The answer is zero.
Zero. Well, he's killed a lot of people. And as far as like opponents.
Has he killed any American soldiers?
No.
No. Has he blown up any embassies anywhere in the world?
No.
Has he attacked the United States embassy anywhere?
No.
No. Has he gotten any good Russian patriots to strap bombs to themselves and go blow themselves up in schools or in cafeterias or in pizza shops?
Blow themselves up? No.
No. When you go through what Soleimani has done on the Shia side, even on the Sunni side, in the region called the Middle East, and see the devastation and destruction this guy has caused, and then you compare it to the biggest enemy of the Putin's the biggest enemy in the world to the Democrats. Now, when Obama was in, it was a reset button, there was friendship, all of that. When you compare it now, it's like Putin is just an arch enemy. He just oozes lethality.
All right.
And of course, he's a bad guy. He would like to see his country number one. He's running a third-rate country now with a decimated military and an economy that's third or fourth rate. Russia has no powers except they have nuclear weapons.
Right.
So, and they're trying to regain some of their majesty. But man for man, the attack on the left is against Putin, and there's a defense of Soleimani. What does that say about the Democrats? That's the question.
I know. And you look at it this way. We know Russia's not going to use nuclear weapons. We know if Soleimani had a nuke, he would launch it.
Boom! He's
in
done. Done deal.
And also the Ayatollahs too, and also, there's also a question going around. They did an interview question with people on campuses, and they said, "Well, who's worse, Soleimani, Putin, Kim Jong-il, or Donald Trump?" And all the people in the university said, to our surprise, Donald Trump. It's like, who's going?
I know that was a crazy survey that was done. I forget what campus it was done on, but they listed world leaders and asked which one is the most dangerous to the world. And out of all the world leaders, Donald Trump was selected. which, this is the battle we
know.
got to face. Tom Trento, your host here. Let me put my regular glasses broke, so I found these things.
Oh, that's been
lying
your
around.
excuse for like the last month, Tom.
Well, I got to go. Yeah, I've been busy. I'm a busy guy.
Hey, Tom, did you look at the tweet that the President Trump sent out to the people protesting in Iran? That tweet was picked up by and retweeted 200,000 times.
200,000 times.
And 100,000 times within the first hour. So there's the message. What is the message of the Democratic candidates, since they're supporting Soleimani? And what is their message to the people that are fighting for freedom in the streets getting shot at? What is their message to the protesters in Iran?
And that's Midwest Dick at 11:14 in the morning. WNN 1470, your host, Tom Trento. Midwest is here. J. Mark is here. We may have Ronnie stop in a little bit, I believe. Tom Trento, your host. We got a lot for you today. We're talking about right now this Democrat disaster last night, the debate.
Well,
And, I forced myself to stay awake and watch it. What do you got?
no, I just
you got
love
pictures
the best comment on the whole night was with Mr. Jones.
Van Jones?
Mr. Jones.
Do we happen to have that
We
that
do
clip?
happen to have
Roll it.
that clip. Here we go.
Roll it. Here we go. Check this out over my shoulder.
Democratic Party. I felt like tonight was a night that they were going to all put the fireworks out there. You're going to see the best of the best, and it just felt like a big bowl of cold oatmeal. Something that this party's got to figure out. How can it light that fire again? This felt like drudgery tonight. It shouldn't feel this way close to one of the most important elections in the country.
All right. A big bowl of cold oatmeal. Is that what he said?
A big bowl of cold oatmeal.
I love oatmeal. I love stone-cut oatmeal, And you have
They're
stone-cut
scared.
oatmeal.
I tell you what, they're running
put berries in it. You put bananas in it, a little cream.
Oh, my
you make
goodness.
it nice
Yeah, but you
and
don't want to see
warm.
it on a Democratic stage, Tom. Now, do you?
A cold oatmeal. Van Jones,
Mr. White Lash.
Yeah, White Lash, and he's got his own problems, but the guy has been fairly objective, critiquing his own party. Not only cold oatmeal, but he said there's no fire. There's no fire. So he mixed his metaphor, which is okay. We understood it. But he said there's no fire on the Democrat side. I'm going to lay out a metaphor for our audience here at the Trento Show. By the way, I run an organization called The United West. Many of you know about it. You can see all the stuff over this shoulder right here. I got to get back in the groove here. All the stuff, there it is right there. Please, if you're watching this, sign up on all those, particularly Twitter. We're going to be doing a lot of Twitter Nation.
Yeah. Tweets.
And a lot of tweets, all of that. The organization, The United West, essentially, though we've put our primary work on hold for the next 290 days, essentially we are an educational counterterrorism organization that effectively educates Americans on the various threats, national security and domestic threats that face good Americans each and every day. And we have two polar threats that have smashed together like an atom, where you have a neutron and a proton in there. We have on one side guys leading the charge worldwide, the Islamic jihadis, the Mohammedans. They have a world view, a way in which they view the world, where they're called by their God, Allah, through their messenger, Muhammad, to have complete domination, supremacy over the world, over everywhere. And that's their doctrine. That's their reason for existing. And then the other polar side of the equation of the two symbiotic threats that face the United States is a fellow by the name of Marx. So we're dealing with Mohammed and Marx, Karl Marx, not Groucho. If it were Groucho, this would be a lot of fun, okay? It's Karl Marx. And Karl has a view, and he came about 1,000 years, he came about 1,200 years, 1,400 years, actually about 1,300 years after Muhammad. And his worldview says, we got to dominate the world. We got to control the world. We have to have a communal world where everybody kind of works together And if you don't want to, we'll show you how it's done with the gun and the bullet, just like Islam.
Violence, yes.
So these two guys have joined together here in the United States to attack, particularly in Florida, Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States. Now, I want you to think about that, everybody out there in TV land and radio land. Donald Trump lives in Florida. There's an attack by the Mohammedans and the Marxists, a political attack, cultural attack, against Donald Trump to defeat him on November 3rd, 2020, and to bring in one of the clowns that was on TV. If Michelle doesn't jump in,
The oatmeal crowd.
yeah, the oatmeal crowd with no fire. But if you think about this, and I want every American watching and listening to seriously think about this, the Marxists and the Mohammedans, they're not really after Donald Trump. Because if Donald Trump had no support,
Right.
if he were a voice in the wilderness, if he was just some guy saying exactly what he's saying with zero support, nobody would be worrying about him. The left, the Marxist left, the jihadist left, they're only concerned about Donald Trump because there's a massive movement of Americans behind him.
Exactly.
That's who they fear.
That's
And
what
if they
they
can knock him off politically, they're in a better position to take control of this U.S. enterprise ship and start devastating it from within to get rid of us. We're the ones standing in the way of them implementing the Marxists and Mohammedans, their worldview. So thank God for Donald Trump, but we got to be standing very close to him. We got to stay right next to him. We can't be far away. We got to be right there, and in fact, got to take the lead, and that's what this organization does.
And just to reemphasize.
Wait a minute, let me finish this.
Okay.
We take the lead in the cultural and political battle here in the state of Florida, and our objective on November 3rd, 2020, is to mobilize. Now, you listen, you Christians, to mobilize 1,000,001, because the other side's trying to mobilize 1,000,000, so we got to get one more than them. 1,000,001 new evangelical Christians. Not that you just became an evangelical Christian, new to voting. The facts indicate between 1 and 5 million evangelical, Bible-believing, good people do not regularly vote. And we need 1,000,001 of you who haven't been to the voting booth for the past few years to show up on November 3rd. So the United West is pushing all of its jihadi hunting. We'll be after you, Care. We're coming down after you right after the election. Maybe we'll do something before. We'll see. But we're pushing aside our jihadi hunting, and we're pushing aside our Marxist expose per se to mobilize 1,000,001 voters. And obviously, in the course of that, we're going to be exposing the Muslims and the jihadists and the Marxists. Okay, that's what we're doing. What do you got there, J. Mark, for us?
I just want to reemphasize your point. It's yeah, you hear how much they hate Donald Trump, but what it really is, it's you they want to throw in the gulags. It's you they want to
throw in the gulag. Come on, you're so prone to hyperbole.
Yeah, I know. But it's you're the one that needs to be re-educated. You need to be denazified. You need to be, in their view, we are, Zeke Kylan goose-stepping right along with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump just is a symbolism.
Where are you getting all these words from, man?
I don't know.
Oh.
I think we have a video or something like that,
A video?
Yeah, a video.
You have a video that has words denazify and gulag and all of that? You're not going to believe, to the credit of our dear friend James O'Keefe, he planted a spy inside Bernie Sanders' campaign. That's what James does. He runs his own domestic intelligence agency, planting spies in the camps of the enemies. And the spies are equipped with technology, surveillance, video and audio recording technology, so that the American audience can listen and hear what's really going on in the camp of some enemies of the state. And if you take a little piece of this clip we're going to show you, you'll see that Bernie Sanders is running an operation. Now, he'll go, I don't know anything about it. Man, last night on the debate, a couple of times I cracked up because he went into, well, let me tell you this. He looked just like Larry David on Saturday Night Live. You mix the both of these guys up. I don't know. Maybe
he's Larry David. Maybe that's really Larry.
You know, maybe
a vote for Bernie is a vote for Larry, or the other way.
Maybe he'd be good as president for 4 years to maybe a year to bring a little humor to the United States, a little more humor. You know, maybe not though. So, are we ready for the James O'Keefe piece yet?
Yes.
Okay, James O'Keefe. I want you to go to projectveritas.com. Project Veritas after our show. Look at the whole piece. We're going to highlight a couple. The words J. Mark was using that the left views us as Nazis and we belong in a gulag. Watch this.
So if Trump gets reelected, what?
Cities burn.
Do you even think that some of these, like, MAGA people could even be re-educated?
I mean, we gotta try. I mean, like in Nazi Germany, after the fall of the Nazi Party, there was a shit ton of the populace that was f***ing Nazified. I mean, like, Germany had to spend billions of dollars re-educating fucking people to not be Nazis. Like, we're probably gonna have to do the same thing here. And that's kind of what Bernie's like, like, hey, free education for everybody, because we're gonna have to teach you not to be a Nazi. There's a reason Joseph Stalin had gulags, right? Mm-hmm. And actually, gulags were a lot better than like what like the CIA has told us that they were. Like, people were actually paid a living wage in gulags. They had conjugal visits in gulags. Gulags were actually meant for like re-education. The greatest way to break a billionaire of their like privilege and their idea that they're superior, go out and break rocks for 12 hours a day. You're now a working class person and you're gonna learn what that means, right?
Bernie doesn't get the nomination, or it goes to the second round at the DNC convention. Milwaukee will burn. It'll start in Milwaukee, and then when the police push back on that, and other cities will.
If your speech is calling for the elimination of people based on race or gender or religious, like for whatever reason, like things that people can't change, then you should expect a violent reaction. And you deserve a violent reaction.
Be ready to be in Milwaukee for the DNC convention. We're gonna make 1978 look like a Girl Scout cookout. The cops are gonna be the ones that are getting beaten in Milwaukee.
Okay. We're going to deconstruct what was said there for our listening audience. May have been a little hard for the audio side. What it was, they were in a restaurant. James O'Keefe, who heads up Project Veritas, one of his spies, he plants people in, and he does this, a year, 6 months, 2 years in advance. So the people are part of the process and they're fully trusted. And this is phenomenal because now none of the candidates running are sure that there's not a plant in their organization, and the probability is there is one somewhere in their national organization. So this is just a mind game that James plays that's phenomenal. But this particular piece was in a restaurant, and the head field organizer, Kyle Jurek, Jerk is the real name, I think, Kyle Jurek, young, bravado, braggadocio, hipster, beard-wearing elite, probably an Ivy School education. We need to check him out a little bit. But he is had a few drinks, it looks like, a little lubrication.
I don't think he was wasted or anything. He might have had a couple drinks.
Yeah, he wasn't slurring, but he was loosened up. He felt comfortable. And the spy, the James O'Keefe spy, did a great job in leading him along, asking him some questions. And he asked him basically, what's going to happen if Bernie doesn't get the nomination in Milwaukee? So Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is where the president was last night. He was in Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is going to be the DNC, Democrat National Convention in the summertime. And Mark, you looked at this a lot of times. Midwest Dick, did you look at this piece before the show?
I did.
What did Kyle Jurek, Jurek, Kyle Jurek, top guy in Bernie's deal, what did he say about if Bernie doesn't get the nomination?
The city's going to burn.
Who's going to burn it?
The leftists, those guys.
Unbelievable. He said if he doesn't get it, there's going to be 1968, the Chicago riots during the National Convention.
He said
there.
78, but it is 68. Yeah.
He said 68. Yeah. He said 78. I read 68.
Well, yeah, 68 is when it
was 68.
He's confused on these dates.
Yeah, he probably wasn't even born then. And it was very, very bad. The Chicago cops were knocking heads, all this stuff. He says that people will initiate a riot if Bernie doesn't make it. And then the spy asked some very, very good questions about, well, what are we going to do with these people? That's where the gulag thing. What is a gulag? I mean, what is that?
Re-education. It's where they send like the writers, dissident writers, against the Soviet Union, and that's where you send them to, get those thoughts out of their head.
Now, this is major, major news. I think we're going to have a friend of ours calling in a little bit on a special rally. And he'll be jazzed up in light of this video we're talking about right now. This is very important, folks. Tom Trento, your host, Make America Think Again. It's the bottom of the hour, about 11:30 a.m. on the east coast of Florida, WNN 1470, 95.3. 8 o'clock for you folks, 8:30 on the west coast. What is it in the Midwest, in the Middle East? The Middle East is 7 hours ahead, so it's about 6:30. Next Monday, we'll have a report from Israel from some of our folks there. Monday show live, unless something happens in the interim. Before I go back to James's video, I went and saw 1917.
Is that good?
Over the weekend. Yeah, it's a very good. I mean, you have to categorize it as in its genre. You got to categorize it as a movie,
right.
A war film.
Right.
It won Best Movie in the Golden Globes, and I mean the theater was packed out, and it really didn't have a strong showing initially, but once it got the Golden Globe, very interesting cinematography, the score, very interesting story. And for movie films, very, very good. Was it the best picture, the dramatic picture?
Yeah.
Who knows? I saw a week or two earlier, I saw Knives Out.
Right.
I would pick that as the best overall movie.
Yeah.
That was a Clue. If you ever liked the game Clue or Agatha Christie thrillers, right. This was a comedy and a psycho. You don't know who's the bad guy, what's next. If you like investigation, you'll like Knives Out. Go see that. But what we're talking about right now, we're taking a look at the debate last night. I want to detail that a little more. But we have before us James O'Keefe's investigative expose on Bernie Sanders' campaign, specifically their field organizer in Iowa, Kyle Jurek, and his horrendous, illegal, almost illegal. You have free speech, but when you say we're going to burn the place and we're throwing people in jail, this guy needs to sit down and say, "Are you making?"
No, the thing about it is, all the people come out in defense of him, saying, "Oh man, he is the greatest. He's the greatest," and he's even come out and said, "I'm a devout socialist communist." I mean, now this is now of course they're going to say this is just a one-off guy, da 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 da. But I got the feeling James is going to be breaking more stuff here recently.
Well, what he did, he followed up the next day and went to the Bernie Sanders campaign office.
Right.
And guess what? Lockdown, shut down. They don't want to see anybody. They thought they saw Kyle's car in the.
Right. They made all the media, all the Twitter accounts are private now.
Twitter accounts are private. CNN has done a gigantic story on this. Oh, have they? Oh no. No, they haven't.
It was MSNBC.
Oh wait, they haven't either.
No. It was Fox News.
Nobody's touching this.
Not even Fox barely touched it.
Yeah, I think what they're doing. I hope what they're doing they let it play to see if it's a spoof or a prank or if it's real. Give it a day or so. And then we should see something now because James has this capability of rolling stuff out every couple of days.
Right.
If it's true, which I believe it is, we have a major, major story that can be devastating to the Bernie Sanders campaign. Midwest Dick, you're Bernie Sanders, and you find out this guy was saying all this stuff, and even though you believe what he's saying, what are you going to say to the press when they go, what are you going to do now, Mr. Sanders? What are you going to do?
Well, what do we always do? We always come up with a lie, an explanation, something to change the subject. What I'm wondering is if that's why Elizabeth Warren did not shake his hand. Was that the problem? That we're talking about Bernie.
I don't think. I
Bernie
think
or Burn is the new logo. Bernie or Burn.
Bernie or Burn. Oh, Bernie or Burn. Okay, B-U-R-N.
My biggest fear though was you're bringing up what happens if Donald Trump wins or if Bernie doesn't get the election, how they're going to burn down Milwaukee, okay, and how they're going to riot the police. I mean, this is what the guy's saying. My other fear, bigger fear, is if Bernie wins and wins the presidency. He says what will happen is that we're going to take billionaires, we're going to lock them up, we're going to throw them, make them turn rocks into smaller rocks, and we're going to throw all these people who need to be re-educated. This is what we mean by free education, is we need to re-educate these people and put them into gulags and camps.
He said you stick a billionaire in a gulag, smashing stones for 12 hours a day, and you make him a working man. Kyle Jurek. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know about this story because the mainstream media is dodging this. They're trying to 86 this story. James O'Keefe, who runs Project Veritas, they put spies basically in various organizations to expose corruption, to expose illegality, to expose the left's worldview, their inside planning. He did this in Bernie Sanders' campaign and produced this video. Can we play a little more with a little lower volume? Or?
Yeah, I actually read the text here so people understand before I play it.
All right, go ahead.
He goes,
stick it on this camera here. They can see.
Yeah,
There you go.
all right, put on cam 4. Is Kyle Jurek. He's the Iowa field organizer now. He's not some low-level guy. He's actually the field organizer. He says, there's a reason Joseph Stalin had gulags, right? And actually, gulags were a lot better than what the CIA had told us.
Yeah, Kyle Jurek is about, 30 years old, 32 years old.
Right.
Just, one of these lefty guys. You go, what's going on? Keep reading.
He goes, that they were like people were actually paid a living wage in gulags. They had conjugal visits. Gulags were actually meant for like re-education. He goes, the greatest way to break a blinking billionaire,
effing billionaire,
of their like.
We're reading the subtitles. Go ahead.
Is privilege, and their ideas is that they're superior. Is to go out and break rocks for 12 hours a day. You're now a working class person. And he goes, if Bernie doesn't get the nomination,
this
or
is the
goes
nomination for president,
or he goes in
Milwaukee
second
in
round
summer.
as a DNC convention, Milwaukee
effing Milwaukee.
I'm trying to keep it clean.
Well, yeah, I mean that's we're not saying the bad
Will
word.
burn. Okay.
Will burn. B-U-R-N, not B-E-R-N.
Okay.
Right.
It'll start in Milwaukee, and then when they effing, and when the police push back on that, other cities will just effing
makes an explosion sound. We'll blow up.
Blow it up. Okay. And if your speech is calling for the elimination of people based on race or gender, or talk about us, or religion, like for whatever reasons, things that people can't change, because people can't change their religion, then you should expect a effing violent reaction. And you deserve a violent reaction.
Okay, this kid.
Be ready, Milwaukee DNC convention. We're going to make 1968 look like a effing Girl Scout effing cookout.
Man, his mother should wash his mouth out, this kid.
The cops are going to be the ones that are going to get effing beaten in Milwaukee. I mean, this guy is just, this guy's just normal.
Normal.
Tom,
He is normal. No, he's a normal. This is what a normal communist thinks. This is normal. This is not atypical.
Well, he
it's abnormal for you.
He referred to himself as an anarch communist, an anarchist / communist, and he says I'm so far left. He was talking to somebody else. Midwest Dick, what was
well, my comment was, you made the comment earlier about evangelicals figuring out what's going on. What is the message for evangelicals? Will we have a gulag dedicated to re-education of evangelicals, and how's that going to look?
Okay, and we're talking millions. And now this is the large. What do you do with this, Tom? I mean, what do you do with this guy? I mean, you can't kill him.
Look, he's going to say,
and you can't throw him in a gulag. And you can't throw him in jail.
You do exactly what we're doing right now. You expose this guy, ladies and gentlemen, because this is, I would say, dominant thinking within a leading element of the socialist, Marxist, left Democrat Party. AOC and her folks were probably saying, go, man, cheering him on. And then they go, wait a minute, he's caught on tape. That's probably their thinking. And you know the jihadi girls, Rashida Tlaib and
right.
Ilhan Omar.
Jihad Squad. Yeah.
You know, they're going, hey, we're loving it. Let's cause the country to burn from within. We love it. Because Omar is a Bernie supporter. So, you know, the situation, I mean, from a law enforcement, first of all, the guy needs to be fired, obviously. He's gonna say, I was off my medication. I had a drink. I was joking. There was a girl there I was trying to impress.
Listen, I'm suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. I know that. I've been on my meds, and I lost some meds. Had a couple little two things to drink, and now I'm getting back to normalization.
Yeah, there's going to be all kinds of obfuscation, all kinds of ways to downplay the essence of what he said. You know, the facts speak for themselves, and more is coming out. So the way O'Keefe works, he will look for a response, and they'll give the response. It's a chess game. They'll give that kind of response that the devil made me do it, and then boom, he brings out another layer of evidence that shows there was no devil. You are the devil.
Right.
But what's the takeaway, Dick, for our objective, the United West, at mobilizing good Christians to vote? These people, this guy and his ilk are going to be, if Bernie Sanders gets elected president, this guy is going to be part of his organization, and he's going to be heading up a region in the country to do this kind of stuff eventually. I mean, don't say it can't be done, because just look at 20, 30 years ago, the way the country looked and the stuff that's going on today. So what do we do, Tom? I don't know what to do. We need you to get out and vote. Contact us. Contact theunitedwest.org. Go to our website. Sign up. We'll send you information. We need you to get involved in mobilizing people to vote. This battle's won at the ballot booth on November 3rd, not in the streets burning on fire and putting people in gulags. We're a party of law.
Well, I will make one point about this, Tom, that kind of goes deeper than just this guy. You have the Rockwood Institute. The Rockwood Institute is producing people like Andrew Gillum,
Linda Sarsour,
Stacey Abrams, Code Pink Girl, a whole bunch of just, and these are the ones that you see. These are the ones that are on the face. This institute has been going on for years and years and years. It's a year and a half of training, and then they go out and spread their wings and fly. They don't just go at the national level where you're seeing them at the face. They go work with the campaigns. All these people that you see have been through some type of indoctrination like this, through these camps, through this training institute.
I think we need to if we continue with our television component, we'll do some presentations on the Rockwood Institute in Oakland, California.
But this is a concerted. This is not just a isolated thing at the top. It's throughout the entire organization, pushing this narrative.
Look, this goes back to
for years
after World War II, when the Soviets then saw that it was a good idea to bring communists into the inside of the United States. And in 1963, when the Muslim Brotherhood came over and went to Champaign-Urbana in Illinois to start the first Muslim student association, 1963. So it's been 40, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years of a counter state.
Right.
And we have a counter state that now is vying to win a presidential election. The counter state has been kept in abeyance to a large degree, corporate espionage, all of that, and we catch some spies here and there. But once they switched from doing national security damage to infiltration on a political level, once we became post-Christian, we took the Judeo-Christian moral base, put it over here. Once we opened up that bag of demons,
right,
then that vacuum got filled by this counter state, and now we have a clash of cultures: the Judeo-Christian culture against the Islamic Marxist culture, and one of them, many of them, are running for president.
Right. You're just seeing you right now. Think of it like this way: you're going to take over a ship at sea. Okay. Are you just going to try to bombard it, and that's the hard way to do it. But if you do it the slow way, take over the engine room
like
first.
The pirates do. They go in and they take over the
engine. Well, that's the hard way to do it. But the easier way to do it is go and take over the engine room, take over communications, take over all the lower stuff, and then you can put your captain in charge. Yep. That's what the Democrats are doing. They're taking that slow approach, which is a different strategy that nobody is really aware of.
Yep. You familiar with that, Midwest Dick?
I think the breakthrough here is the word gulag. Think about it. Both the red and the green are creators of gulag. Certainly we know about Siberia and the Russian gulags. Obviously, Iran, people have been living with gulags. The people that, when the Shah was deposed, there weren't a lot of people who supported the Shah who were left alive. They were either put in prison or killed. So the whole notion of people being penalized, not just defeated in an election, but their life has changed dramatically. So we now need to begin to get evangelicals to think about life in 2021 without Donald Trump as the president. What will be happening to them individually? Could they possibly be motivated to get off the couch, register, and vote in 2020 so they're safe in 2021?
And the key in our part, from a communication and activism point of view, the United West, and we're working with about 20 other organizations here in the state of Florida, is to make that what is perceived to be some sort of theoretical or existential connection between the video you just saw about a guy talking about a gulag and your life post-Donald Trump. We have to make that connection, and how do we do it? If we make America think again, we provide facts and information. Now, I want to give you a metaphor. Then we're going to look, I want to talk a little bit about the debate. And I want to end this thing on Brian Mast's brilliant move yesterday in the U.S. Congress. Here's the metaphor. We're going to the debate right now. We're switching gears, going to the debate last night, Democrat debate. I think it was the sixth one. All white, man, all white. I can't believe
racist Democrats.
It's what did you think? And all these. We force ourselves to watch, to go into enemy territory and watch MSNBC. And CNN. I get up early in the morning and I'm watching these things and I go, I hope my brain doesn't get to. But they'll say something stupid, the talk show host, and then they'll bring on the subject matter expert. What do you think, sir? Well, apart from the fact that it's all white, this may or may not be a black guy. And I go, what does the color have to do with criteria of performance? These are the winners. These are the people that met the criteria. The other people, by the way, a couple of years ago, you had a black president, so the system can't be rigged. Maybe the people aren't competent enough to win at the level necessary to get to this end here. Unbelievable.
We forgot, Tom. We need a moment of silence for Cory Booker.
Oh, Cory's out? Is he out?
Yeah. So, moment over. Okay.
Did he really? Okay, the moment of silence is over.
Yeah, he's gone. The racist Democrat Party can't put a black man up there and won't let the Chinaman on stage, and all the people of color are gone.
All right, here we go. 47 minutes.
The one with the most color is Pocahontas.
Yeah. 47 minutes after the hour. Tom Trento, your host. WNN 1470. What a great time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. We have about 290 days until the election. This is a definitive election. We have a president that's impeached today, Nancy, and it looked like the Adams family up there. Nancy and Adam Schiff
and Lurch,
Jerry Nadler, and four others,
those guys.
7 of them. They were all up there stone-faced, and now they're going to hand the articles over, and they then want to bring in new witnesses. We'll go into that more tomorrow because we're going to see what plays out. But what do you have? You have something?
No, we're just switching cameras.
Oh, okay. But I want to give you a metaphor. I want to give everybody a metaphor for understanding this, the debate, and understanding the choices that all America has to make on November 3rd. I'm a car guy. I forgot that I made myself a note. When I was talking about 1917, the movie I went to, I met a very nice couple from the UK, and I think they were going to start listening today. And it became pretty evident that we have the gentleman was an anti-Brexit guy, a very distinguished attorney. Oh, it's going to cost jobs. It's going to do all of this. And I'm sure he wasn't a Trump guy. But we were talking about cars and movies, and it was nice. And so a shout out to my UK friends that I met up with. But if you're watching the debates, there's 6 candidates right now. I'm going to do a test. I'm throwing this to Midwest Dick and J Mark. I want each of you to name one as quickly as you can. One names one, the other one, and let's see if you can knock off all 6. We'll start with you, Midwest Dick.
Tom.
No, I'm not a candidate for
Steyer.
Tom Steyer.
Oh.
Mr. Stare Down.
First name. You gotta
go last names.
Steyer.
Mr. Stare Down. Mr. Man, does he look spooky looking in that camera?
Yeah, you just have to say a name. Go as fast as you can.
Bernie.
Warren.
Buttigieg.
Biden.
And that chick, what's her name? Klobuchar.
What is she doing there? She really is going to be the president? All right, well, look. Here's the metaphor. Those are the 6. You guys did good. Here's the image I want you to have. I'm a car guy. I like automobiles, and I have a background with cars and racing and all that stuff. And I go to car shows. I want you, whenever you see the 6 of them, to think that you are at a car show. All right? I was at a car show over the weekend. I was there when at an auction somewhere in Florida where cars going for multi-millions of dollars were being auctioned off and sold. And you walk through the place, you touch a car that's selling for $2.1 million,
right,
and everything's perfect. And the owners they have Q-tips out, and they're. All right, now we're going to a car show, the Democrat presidential car show.
Right.
And there's 6 of them. They have 6 cars, and they're standing by it. And Joe Biden has this 1954 jalopy truck. It's rusted out. Oil's leaking. The mirrors are hanging off.
But it's a classic. It looks good. It looks good.
The mice are in the engine compartment. And he's there with his shiny white fake teeth and his fake hair. You can see his hair plugs and everything. His fake hair. And he's going, look at what I have for America. I want you to vote for this car to be the best car in the show. And you look at that and you go, what? If you see a guy honestly saying this is the best automobile you've ever seen in your life, and it's a piece of crap.
Well, you're saying, it is a 57 Chevy. Okay. I mean,
no, it's an old truck, falling apart. Midwest. What do you say when the guy is saying something that defies your lying eyes?
His own personal check engine light is on. There's a problem in there. There's a problem in there.
His own check engine light is on.
Well, I'm thinking like a Democrat. I'm looking at him as if I'm a Democrat voter, I'm saying, well, it's a classic car and he needs work and we can fix him up.
It's a piece of crap.
But they're thinking, well, there's something there to work with. He's got name recognition.
All right, so you're trying to be kind. All right, now we go to the next car, and Elizabeth Warren is there, and she's got, what would she be? What would be her classic automobile
No,
that she would present as this is, and look, all of America has to go for a ride in that vehicle for the next 4 years.
Covered
okay?
wagon. She's got a
She's
covered
got a
wagon.
covered wagon trying to tell you it's a car. You go, no, it's a covered wagon.
She's got a covered wagon, and the
Arrow-
wheels are
arrows
broken.
in it. Yeah.
There's arrows in it. Part of it's burning. And she says, oh, look at this. This is what America wants. If you're in this covered wagon, we'll travel across the plane, and everything will be great.
Just put them in a circle. Put them in a circle, the wagon.
You put them in a circle. All right, let's come to Buttigieg.
He's got a tricycle.
He's got a tricycle. He's got a beautiful tricycle. He's got the thing with the streamers coming out of the handles.
Got the ringing bells.
Does he have a ringing bell or does he have a tooting horn? Does he have a tooting horn?
He's got a tooting horn.
He's got lights on it. He's got the seatbelt on it, safety harness, all of this stuff. He's going, ride with me. Come on. This is the way to go, America. Get on my tricycle. Okay. Now, as bizarre as this is, we're making a point. These people are selling you a con job, and if you can't see the devastating idea and plan and vehicle they're trying to sell you for the next 4 years, you got a problem. Your check engine light is on. All right, who do we have left? What is Klobuchar going to be driving?
Does she have a car?
We're going to do Brian Mass tomorrow because we're having too much fun with this. We'll do Brian tomorrow. Klobuchar is walking. She is walking.
She doesn't have a
has
car.
no car. She's green. She doesn't want a car. So she's there going, just walk with me. Walk with me. All right, Tom Steyer, billionaire Tom Steyer.
He's got a jet engine. He's sitting on top. He said,
I don't
"Get
think
in."
so.
Well, hold on, and he's talking about global warming as he's getting on his jet airplane, and just giving the smile and
He doesn't smile.
razzle dazzle.
He doesn't
He
and
doesn't smile. Now, I didn't realize this. Trump outed him. He made his money. He's totally anti-fossil fuel. He made his money in the coal industry, a lot of money. He is he's driving a Prius. That guy's driving an old
Prius.
first-year Prius with skinny little tires.
That's a better car, yeah.
The paint is all coming off, and he's saying, come with me. And who's the next one?
That was it, wasn't it?
Bernie.
Oh, Bernie.
Bernie Sanders. We got to give that guy a car.
Oh, yeah. He's driving what's that communist car? That one that, what's the name of that thing?
There's a communist car, not Pravda.
Not
That's
Pravda,
the
not...
the one that's the total... Yeah, where they sold it in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it.
Top Gear show I used to watch. They did a thing on the communist car.
How about a
look
Yugo?
It up. Somebody look it
Yugo,
up.
maybe.
No, there's worse. This thing, a Yavda, something. Bernie Sanders is driving a communist car, and he's saying it's actually the people's car. It works. It's good. The point of what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen, at 55 minutes past the hour. Tom Trento, your host, WNN 1470. We're trying to help America think again by graphically illustrating through using classic cars what each Democrat candidate is driving in a metaphorical way, representing their plan for America and warning people to kick the fenders, smell the leather, which they don't have fenders, these cars. They don't have, check it out before you buy and before you're sold a con job by a used car salesman. That's what we're doing. Look at that as a representation of a total scam to America, their positions. And we're going to get into a lot of detail through the days ahead. Did you find out what that car is called?
No, but it reminded me of a joke Ronald Reagan told once, real quick.
What was that?
It goes, he's talking with a person in the Communist Party who told him this joke. He goes, yes, because it takes 10 years to get a car. So so he goes up to the car dealer. He goes, how much for the car? So he pays him out for the car, and the guy says, all right, you come back 10 years, and we'll get you your car. The guy looks at him and says, okay, morning or afternoon? He goes, why does it matter if morning or afternoon? He goes, well, because the plumber's coming in the morning. But the car.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Anyway, Tom Trento, your host. We're coming down to the bewitching hour noon. We want everybody to have a wonderful afternoon. Rest of the week tomorrow. We're gonna pick up a story, tremendous piece by Brian Mast. Essentially, what he did, and you can go look at it because we're going to talk about it tomorrow. He went before a hearing, and he asked everyone in the audience and all of his colleagues, congressional colleagues, and the people that were in the hearing. He asked them to name one of the Americans killed by Qasem Soleimani, to name one of them that Soleimani should not have died for. Name an American whose death didn't justify the United States killing the head of Iran's terror forces. And he said, I'm going to wait. I got 2.5 minutes, and it's very dramatic what happened when he stopped. So we'll play that tomorrow. We're going to look more at what Nancy Pelosi does today, because when we came on the air live, she was touting her team of managers, and she was putting together her articles to walk over with trombones and 76 cannons and everything else.
And fireworks display.
Fireworks.
For a block and a
this,
half trip, right.
And trying to embarrass the Senate into saying, if you don't consider more testimony, you're covering up. You're covering up. And the fact of the matter is, if you've ever been in a trial or ever seen them, and I've seen a bunch of them, when the judge says you have to rest your case now, you rest your case, and that's it. Now it goes to the jury. And she rested her case, but now she wants to open her case up again and doesn't want it to go to the jury. Tune in tomorrow. We'll work all of this out. Tom Trento for the guys. We'll see you on Thursday.